Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. 3 deep breaths. 3, 2, 1. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, the amazing Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today's topic is Ask Dr. Donna. You're going to be asking me some questions after my intro. Karen, I saw your 6 questions there, ready to go. My lives are sponsored by the elements at H2O. When I say drink water, you are going to drink water too. Let's go ahead and get some water in this morning. Drink water. Okay. That's how Sergeant Guthrie used to say. All right. Good morning, Teresa. Good morning, Sarah. One of the most expensive habits. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. One of the most expensive habits a brain can develop is pretending to know something it does not know. Many unnecessary problems begin when people guess, assume, avoid asking, or substitute confidence for competence. The principle of real leadership, as we all know, is if you don't know, ask. That means if you don't know, ask. Doesn't matter if everybody else in the world know. If you don't know, then you ask. Questions create clarity. Clarity creates better decisions, and better decisions create better conditions. When you ask the questions, several parts of the brain are at work. Miss Darlene, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, becomes active because she has to identify what information is missing. She creates the question mark. Miss Brenda Jones helps to detect the uncertainty and signals that more information is needed. A little friction. And then Mr. Memory, the hippocampus, searches for what you already know and helps connect new information to existing information and knowledge, which allows you to strengthen your semantic memory, which is where skill development and everything else takes place, which is not episodic memory. Episodic memory is, I remember this happened on this day with this, and semantic memory is, I know how to do this. When people stop asking questions, Oscar often fills in the gaps with assumptions, guesses, and shortcuts. That's why the unaccountable brain is so dangerous, because it won't ask questions and it will assume, it will make guesses, and it will take shortcuts, which is why the adult brain is always like, well, yeah, what's the life hack? What's the quickest way to get that done? Well, how do you have to do this without actually having to do the work and actually become skilled and put that in your hippocampus? The brain learns more efficiently when it's curious than when it is pretending. That's why I call them thought leaders, forecasters, and experts, because they are pretending to know instead of actually knowing. And every quality question strengthens your ability to think, learn, and make decisions objectively. The reason why you ask more questions is because it gives you more information. You can use the principle of real leadership, be objective, and as a result, more information allows you, more factually based, tangible information allows you to make better decisions for you and your amazing brain. So questions expose knowledge gaps. That's it. Stop making this shit emotional. Questions expose knowledge gaps. That means I don't know this information. Let me ask a question. Knowledge gaps create opportunities to learn. I don't know it. I'm getting ready to learn something new. Learning strengthens a neural pathway. And then a stronger neural pathway improves your decision making. And better decisions improve better outcomes. Real leaders are not afraid to ask questions, and they are more afraid of making avoidable mistakes because they failed to ask. Good morning, Daisy. Remember, not knowing is not the problem. Refusing to ask is. That doggone ego, that doggone Oscar and Amy and Lala, like, don't ask no questions, you're going to look stupid. Which one do you want to do? You want to look stupid not knowing now, or you want to fuck some big shit up later and really look like you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Everybody has a brain, and your attention is a resource, so remember that. So let me go into YouTube and get to Karen's questions, and hopefully I did. Yes. So, you motherfucker. Please don't update anymore, YouTube. All right, so Karen put her questions in. Y'all can start asking your questions. I will go back and forth to get this in. All right, so Karen said, "Good morning, Dr. Donna. Here are my questions." Karen's first question is, "How can I train my brain to become more creative without forcing creativity? What can I do daily to neurologically strengthen my creativity?" Create. Create. Fuck. Why did you update YouTube? It should stop now because I paused it. Create, Karen. That's what you can do. You can create. So the only way that you're going to become more creative is to create. Having created hundreds of thousands of pieces of content, you're just going to start creating. Now, where is the creativity going to come from? Watch this. Reading. Reading. I know, right? You're going to do some left brain activity for, in theory, some right brain action. But by reading and processing what you're reading, you're literally going to start thinking more. And when you're in your default mode network doing routine tasks, now you're going to be self-reflecting and self-correcting. And so y'all see it all the time. I just wrote one on the TikTok live. Do not be a washed up never was. So because I'm always creating, and I got stacks and stacks and stacks of Post-it notes on my desk from ideas that I had. So what you have is you can use Post-its, you can text yourself, you can use Google Notes and Google Keep, but the idea will be like, boom, that's a great idea. And now when it's time for you to sit down and create, you go through your ideas that you had throughout your day. You were walking and shopping and saw something. That's a great idea for that. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. So what you're doing is opening up your brain to anything can be an idea and anything can turn into anything else. So that's how you become more creative. Make sure you get your 15 minutes of reading in. And when you are in your default mode network, you are self-reflecting and self-correcting. And throughout your day, ideas will start coming. So once you myelinate creating something every day, now you're going to create something every day. That's why I started posting on social media every day, because I had to do something every day that would create something that wasn't here, that by the time I go to sleep is here. All right. Next question is 2. Yes, so that was questions 1 and 2. So you got to do it every day. Question 3, how can I tell the difference between genuine intuition and my brain simply predicting based on past experience? Because intuition is objective. It's like, don't do that. Go over there. Don't say that. Do that. And your brain predicting is emotional. What if that's going to happen? What if that? So it's not tangible. But the gut instinct, the intuition is really saying, don't fuck with them. Go ahead and make that a business decision. It's very objective. It is extremely objective, but that prediction is coming from an external stimuli. What if this happens? What if this happens? And it's a what if as opposed to don't or do. One is concrete with a strategy, and the other one is real vague. It's like, but this may happen. But what if I do this? But just in case, what's it? And so it feels different. The Insula and the ACC will register it differently. Miss Brenda Jones is going to say, don't talk to them. I told you, and then you're going to be like, something told me that I should have never did that. It's real quick. It's like, go left instead of right. That's the direction. Don't fuck with them. Not, well, what if they don't like me? That's predicting. Number 4 is how do I know when my prefrontal cortex is truly leading instead of my amygdala just being quiet? Your amygdalas can be quiet. The amygdala's actual job, and Nola has noticed this now, the amygdalas only show up when there is a potential threat. That's it. And the more regulated your brain becomes and the more neutral your SGACC becomes, the amygdalas are real quiet. Oscar is the one that's still looking at shit. They only show up if there is a threat. That is one of their major roles is, this feels like a threat. And the more, and remember, if you're predicting, then the amygdalas are going to show up because you are afraid. They're like, they want predictability. So if you say, here's my why and here's my strategy, you really ain't going to hear from Amy and Lala. That's not what's going to happen. So my prefrontal cortex is truly leading instead of my amygdalas. So again, very objective. It's going to be calm. Here's what I'm getting ready to do. I have a why, I have a strategy, and now I'm getting ready to go execute that. So you're not saying, why the fuck am I in the middle of the grocery store in the produce section? You went to go get some fruit, and now you're there getting whatever fruit is in season, and then you're going to go on about your business. So if you find yourself in the cake section, the cakes wasn't on the grocery list. So now that was an emotional decision. You're like, but I smelled all that cinnamon. Get your ass out of that part, go get the fruit and get out the store. And then the last question is there, hold up, is there a brain habit that most people overlook that has the biggest impact on long-term personal growth? Yes, comfort. Comfort comes disguised as everything but comfort. You had a tough day. You need to go ahead and just relax. You went to school 30 years ago. You don't need to go back and learn nothing else. You learned everything. You still doing that. Now everything you're doing is working. So Oscar comes in and gives you all of these excuses that all sound like legitimate reasons, and they're not. So comfort is killing the brain softly. Comfort, safety, and survival is the default mode for the brain. So the brain is always going to go for the most efficient way to be comfortable, safe, and in survival mode. That is what's going to take place. So yes, you need to be discomforted. And then you myelinate being discomforted and the thought of being comfortable, other than going to sleep, recovering from a medical event, or on your way checking out, transitioning out of here. It's the only time you actually need to be comfortable. Other than that, Miss Darlene is running the show. And so most people have a weak ass dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and a strong ass orbital frontal cortex. And so their whole objective is to be comfortable and immediate gratification. And as I said on a TikTok live, you need to delay when you release your dopamine for the work that you do. And it takes longer for you to do that, but then you become this very much capable, highly functioning human being in your day-to-day life. All right. And how does laughter change the brain neurologically? I'm gonna have you look that one up on chat, because laugh and smile often is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And I feel like you're gonna have follow-up questions for that. So that would be a great question for you to engage with your favorite AI of choice. All right. Now, what questions do we have here? Sarah said, does it matter if I know somebody within the members group doesn't really believe in this work? Literally said that Neuro Reps are fake to my face. I'm confused by that question. Sarah, if somebody within this members group doesn't really believe in this work, literally said that Neuro Reps are fake to my face. You can explain that, because I'm confused by that question. Teresa said, when a child must constantly figure it out yourself, how does that sustain cognitive strain after the daily rhythm of cortisol secretion? When a child must figure it out themselves. I'm gonna need some more background for that. Teresa, because I don't understand that. Daisy said, good morning. Teresa said, how do we teach a brain that survived by relying entirely on itself, that is safe to learn on a collective community system? How does early isolation impact autonomic nervous system's tones? Okay, here, I believe those two questions are connected. So here is what I'm going to say. The actual work of Neuro Reps strengthens the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and the prefrontal cortex. It actually makes the SGACC neutral, and it regulates the brain. So step one is to regulate your brain. And the brain dumps are designed for you to see where the dysregulation exists. The things that you myelinated, the somatic markers, the pattern recognition, where there is trauma, where there is predicting brain, and all of these other nice little psychological terms that the psychologists have made. You then assess that objectively as the brain was designed to be used. And so, in order for you to do any of this work, you need a strong prefrontal cortex, specifically the executive function of your brain. So that's the work first. And then you will be able to do this other work. So if you want to be able to have a whole strong body, you got to start using 2-pound weights. You might be doing 10 pounds on a leg press. You might only be able to do 2 or 4 sit-ups. And so some of these questions are asking me, well, when I'm gonna be able to do 100 push-ups? Or when I'm gonna be able to bench press my body weight? Well, when my diet gonna do this? And when is this going to happen? And I'm saying, dial it back. You need to be doing daily neuro reps. You have lived your whole life with this dysregulated brain, and now you are regulating your brain. And so all this stuff that you want to fix, it doesn't work like that neurologically. It takes 42 days for a neural pathway to become implicit in the brain. That's 42 days. So while all these things may be coming up for you, there's nothing that you can do about it neurologically yet, because your brain isn't strong enough to handle it. If you lift 10-pound dumbbells and somebody comes and hands you 70-pound dumbbells, you're going to strain something, break something, or fall over. You have to be where you currently are. And while all these other things are showing up, your brain needs to be strong enough to process what is taking place. It took Nola 300 days in a self-care challenge for her insula to start feeling. 300 days. And so, when is this going to happen? And what do I do about this? And what do I do about this? And what do I do about this? You keep doing neuro reps. Regina is handling something that is one of the most challenging things in her life in a very long time. And she is cool as the other side of the pillow because she just reached 300. She's like 369, 72 days or something like that. So it's going to be a while. And it is on you for whatever you myelinated, whatever you buried. This is going to take time to undo because you are actually creating a brain that can process what your brain did to itself the entire time. So let me know if I'm answering your question. So you're putting the cart before the horse. Does a childhood spent in hypervigilant state permanently lock the nervous system into sympathetic dominance, limiting the body's ability to activate the parasympathetic system rest and digest state? No. The brain is a muscle. The brain has neuroplasticity. And so for years, I did not talk about my MST. I finally talked about it. For 30 days, I couldn't access my fusiform gyrus because my brain was shutting down to protect me. And I kept doing the neurological work. And now I'm able to see everybody's faces again in my head. And I can talk about that trauma without feeling like I need to go unalive somebody. That's what's actually taking place. So nothing is permanent. People have strokes and still wire their brains around the area that was impacted. I won't say nothing is permanent, but a lot of these behavioral things are not permanent. And you actually have the ability to prune those neural pathways with the microglials and the ability to use the oligodendrocytes to myelinate something else. But you actually have to address what's taking place neurologically. That's what Daisy is experiencing because it's just so much that the brain is like shut down, shut down, shut down. So the brain will protect you from you. And you have to say, okay, we're no longer in that environment. Let the ACC know that friction, we're getting ready to update what's taking place. Let the ventral medial prefrontal cortex know the why, and then you let the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex have a strategy. So when those things come up, and I won't say everything goes away, but you can handle it. So I will have a PTSD moment. It will not last long. It's there. I have to tell myself I'm not there anymore, and then I continue on. So the brain has 86 billion neurons, 85 billion glial cells. And when you myelinate something new and prune something else, use it or lose it. I don't walk around with a steel bat and a tire iron anymore. That's no longer myelinated for me. That has been pruned. From a developmental perspective, Teresa, from a developmental standpoint, does managing adult responsibility as a child permanently accelerate cortical thinning of the prefrontal cortex? No. I have had to raise my whole family since I was 11 years old. And when a child must consistently complete tasks, cooking, chores without parental praise, does the brain build self-contained dopamine loops that reject external validation? No. You actually don't need external validation. So this is some Oscar shit that showed up. You can praise and reward people, but you are your validation. You release your dopamine for things that you're doing. So this whole notion of you need hand claps of praise and all of that cheering you on to get it done. means that if that support is not there, you won't be able to get things done. So no one is cheering me along right now. I mean, Nola is doing the work, but for my whole life, I had whys and strategies. And when it was done, I wanted to see if I could do that. I wanted to see if I could get my DTM in 18 months. Ran the numbers, got it. When the thing came in the mail, I put it in a drawer. I never even put it on my wall because you have the ability to release your own dopamine, your own reward system for the work that you are doing. And so, again, I understand your questions from your life, but I have the behaviorist and the psychologist to thank for all of your questions because that's at the behavioral level that you said, so I'm behaving like this. How does this impact me neurologically? They made it a thing when it isn't actually a thing. It feels like it's a thing. But what was taking place is you had a group of people raise you with dysregulated brains. And so they did not have the neurological capacity to basically govern their own brain, so they couldn't support you governing and developing your own brain. And now you have this existence that you have because since 1906 until now, even though we knew about the neuron doctrine, the people who were responsible for telling us how our brain functions so we could function better didn't do their due diligence because they didn't want to be discomforted. And that's why we find ourselves in the situations that we're currently in, is because we didn't go back one more step and say what's happening neurologically, how can we wire a better brain? So that's why we're still having people have these behavioral experiences, because we're not saying, let's prune that and myelinate something else. So in summary, based upon all your questions, the things that happened to you in your childhood don't have to be an issue for you growing forward when you actually strengthen your brain to process what took place and put new neural pathways in place and myelinate a higher level existence. All right. What's the next question? From Lacey, because I believe I answered all your. Yeah, when a child must consistently, yes. Lacey, what brain regions are involved with cravings and food noise? Are these both the same things? So the questions keep, and I understand that you're studying the brain regions, and so you're saying that. But it's more about myelination for these behaviors. So the brain will crave sugar because sugar, like salt and cocaine and everything else, is highly addictive. But it is the behavior that you myelinated that created the reward loop in the first place. So if every time, and you said this yourself, Lacey, with food is always going to be the constant. When I have a problem, I know I can depend on food, and food is going to be there for me. So problems took place in your life. That's the behavior of other people. And in order for you to cope with that, you went to food. And so now when you do it enough, you got enough times of rewarding yourself. I got a problem, let me eat. I got a problem, let me eat. I got a problem, let me eat. That's what you actually myelinated. And so now when that shows up, craving shows up, I got to eat because of a behavior that existed. So if you are a person that started drinking when you were 12 years old, Drew Barrymore was a childhood alcoholic because the Barrymores were drunks. And so what happens is, I'll use me as an example. When I was like 8 years old, my mother, we was at a barbecue. She gave me some of her Coke 45 and I spit it out, and adults thought that shit was funny. My sister liked it. And so my sister ended up becoming a drunk. And so every time there's a party around, things are going left, she can't deal with shit. She is taking something to do it. And so now the brain says, oh, we just had that fucking problem. Let's go ahead and avoid what's actually taking place. And then it becomes implicit. And so now it's like it's time. It's 9 p.m. If you were a foodie and at midnight you snuck in the kitchen and ate some shit, the brain's gonna say it's midnight. Go get your cookies. It's midnight. If you smoke some shit, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. Go ahead, roll up, smoke up, toke up, do what you got to do. And so it's not so much the regions that are involved, it's what did I myelinate that I keep doing this behavior. And now I have to stop. I got to disrupt the loop because it's implicit. Jared has said it. Shit, I'm at the fucking vending machine. I done already had a honey bun. And I'm like, how did I get to the vending machine? Why the fuck when did I eat the honey bun? I'm licking the glaze like, damn, I ate that honey bun that fast. So it is a behavior that has been a brain system that said, let me give some doggone release of dopamine. This feels good. This feels good. Now it's implicit, and now you're doing it. So it's really, what did I do to myelinate these food cravings that I have? What was taking place that now This is an unconscious decision that my brain is making. Bridget said, can I help the grand develop the neural pathways even though she doesn't live with me? No. The only thing that can take place is you cannot help someone develop a neural pathway. You can set up systems that develop neural pathways. So, for example, me having Nola read her bedtime stories to her because she wants a bedtime story. That's what you do. So, you develop systems at your house when she's with you that will create new neural pathways. So if before, let's say the grand wants to have cake when she comes over there. I don't know that that's true. I'm just using that. Not cake. She wants to help you cook, but she needs to focus on her reading. I know that's not the case, but I'm just using this as an example. So what you say is you pair things. So you say, okay, grand, when we're going to start cooking dinner at 6 p.m. But before that, you need to go ahead and read this Who Was book. And while we're cooking, we're going to talk about what you learned from the Who Was book. So what that's going to do is she's going to read, get her reading is fundamental in. Now she knows that she has to take away something from reading the book. And now she knows communicate effectively about her opinions about the book. And now you have done reading is fundamental and communicate effectively. And now you're going to be able to get technical competence because you're going to start cooking with her. And she's going to be listening and asking questions all at the same time. So that's how you myelinate those behaviors, because the system is going to make that something that happens implicitly. And now she's just going to read, and now she's going to associate reading with cooking, asking questions, and she will be able to do all of those things together. But as soon as you tell someone this is the system, Oscar says we're not doing that. But if you just say, go ahead and read your book and we're going to talk about it because we're going to cook. And you're like, oh, cool. I'm going to pair my reading with my cooking. So after I read this book, I'm going to be able to cook with you. Yes, there you go. And it makes it a desirable action that you want to have. Teresa said, avoiding my inner child. Everybody has a brain. Everybody was a child. I need to go to the first link in the chain for complete understanding. Hence the childhood questions. I'm the child. I understand that, but you also need to be where you are. So it's 50,000 feet and then it's boots on the ground as well. So in order to do all of those things, the brain has to be strong enough to process those things. And so I don't want to say, I'm saying keep doing the Neuro Rep work and those things will be revealed. Because what for me being on the receiving end is like, now I have this thing. I didn't do all this stuff and now I'm going to attempt to do everything. This is a marathon, not a sprint. And I've said that to you before because now you want to hurry up and solve all these things. And I'm saying your brain isn't strong enough to do the work that you're wanting your brain to do right now. You got to get to level 3. You got to keep doing the neural reps because now you're like, I want to attack this thing. I want to attack this thing. And you're too attached to the thing. So you got to be more objective. So you need more objective cognitive strength to process what's actually taking place. So that when you look at everything objectively, now you're going to say, here are the neurological patterns instead of why the fuck they do that shit to me. That part. So your brain is going to need to be stronger. That's what I'm saying. You're unpacking it theoretically, and I get that. But your brain hasn't been doing this long enough yet to literally do it. So you're going to have to table it. So for now, you're going to focus on today. You're going to focus on eliminating clutter, going to get your new car that you said next month, because that's a big ass thing to be unpacking right now. And you don't have the neurological capacity to do it. So you do these small things. Don't underestimate the use of something small, because that small moment is going to connect to another moment, which is going to connect to another moment, which is going to connect to another moment. And now you're going to see that neurologically for what it is, as opposed to behaviorally what happened to you. Okay. Tiffany said, question 1, what's the big deal neurologically with men wanting women in relationships to be submissive? Is that Oscar? No, that is men myelinating women will be submissive, barefoot and pregnant. That's what they want. Because here's the thing. If you're submissive, then you can't hold them personally accountable. I resemble that remark. So now you don't have to submit to anybody. Everybody has a brain. So that's their neurological pathways that they have myelinated. In order for me to be a man, you need to submit as a woman. No, I'm a human being. You're a human being. I got a brain. You got a brain. So it's just something that has been myelinated, and it is not something that needs to take place in order to have a high functioning relationship. They're taking that whole verse in the Bible, wives will submit unto their husbands, and they've ran with it. But they forgot about the part about providing. You got to submit, but you bringing home more bread than them. You got to submit, but they need to know what their job is so they can fill out the paperwork to go to the doctor. You got to submit because they don't know where they put their suit. So you see how that doesn't work? Is literally you're going to be at hypervigilant in order for them to be who they are. They're saying, I need you to be this so I can be this. That is not how that works neurologically. Your personality resides in the prefrontal cortex. So as a result, you could be a highly functioning, capable person with the brain, and so can I. And if that can't work, then that relationship is not going to work. You're asking someone to stop using their brain as it was designed to be used so you can use your brain at a lesser level. All right. What the hell are you talking about, dummy? Okay, let me go ahead and block you. All right. Jared said how to combat self-doubt after doing brain dumps about the same thing. Oh, no, not Jared. Sarah said how to combat self-doubt after doing brain dumps about the same thing. There is no combating self-doubt. I'm going to say the same thing to you, Sarah, that I'm saying to Teresa. Work on smaller things. That's what you're here to do. So if you think about elementary school, the basics, if you ever play sports and basketball comes to mind, layups and free throws and boxing out, getting rebounds, and being able to be conditioned to run for 45 minutes straight, that's what you're focusing on. So what's happening is that you're early in the process and now you want things to be fixed because you feel like you're behind. First of all, that is going to deflate you. And then that will cause you to stop because now you're saying, I got to fix this. I got to fix this. I got to fix this. This brain dump didn't work. And this didn't, this. And that's Oscar. And that's also all of these quick fix systems that says you can get this shit done in 30 days. You can get it done in 60 days. And I'm saying it takes 42 days for a neural pathway to become implicit. That's 42 days from your start date for one neural pathway. So right now, again, keep doing neural reps because they actually work. Your brain is not strong enough to process these things. And so you're going after the big shit instead of fixing what's happening in your day. When you stabilize your day, now you can go and start attacking those other things, for lack of a better term. So you can start addressing the things from the past. But right now, you got to get this day together. This day in and day out. Your daily objective is to focus on being sober. The brain dumps are designed to clear your brain. And if your brain is not clear, you ask more questions so that your brain is clear for today. Now, what is happening is because Oscar is still stronger than Ms. Darlene, Oscar is still running the brain and Oscar is still telling you you didn't do that right. That ain't no brain dump. You still got the fucking problem. All of that is taking place because the brain is not regulated and the SGACC isn't regulated. So you actually have an Oscar clock for doing things. Everybody's Oscar clock is different. Jared's Oscar clock, he didn't even know it was basketball season. So he could get some shit done from the end of basketball season until the beginning of basketball season, and then shit starts falling off every year as the games get more and more and more intense. So your Oscar that you myelinated, I'm going to do something new, and then it's not going to work and I'm going to quit. Oscar knows what that timeline is. And Oscar is just like, yeah, about 3 weeks, about 2 months, about 8, 9 days. And that's what Oscar is waiting on. When you quit, and as Jared has told us, you get the relief of quitting and then the regret sets in. So apparently you're doing things longer than your Oscar brain has decided that you're going to do. And so here comes the talking. The fuck you still doing this for? What's going on here? Why are you not? Oscar's ready for a drink. Oscar's ready for you to stop. Oscar's ready for you to complain. Oscar's ready because you got the reward loop. You've passed one of your reward loops already. So Oscar like, where the fuck the phase of dopamine go? What the hell is this? That's what's happening. So it's not the brain dump. Oscar is saying the brain dump didn't work. If you did a brain dump and you continue doing with your day, you did the brain dump correctly. If you did the brain dump and then you sat on your ass and you didn't do anything, then Oscar got the point for the scoreboard for that day. Oscar's job is to keep you distracted so you will go back to your comfort, safety, survival brain all the time. He got a lot of tactics. So if you did the brain dump, you went on about your day, it was a successful brain dump. Jared said, how can I start a successful morning routine? You have to go to sleep on time every day. Jared, I noticed that when you are off, you don't wake up at the same time. So for you, what you need to do is go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time, and then take a nap on your days off. That's the routine that you need to have. Because you will, if you're off, you're going to stay asleep. And that starts, Oscar's like, yeah, we're just going to sleep in. And Miss Darlene is not going to wake up. So you get up every day at the same time and do the same routine. You go to work or not, unless you're on vacation in a different time zone. But every day you get up. I wake up at the same time every day and get shit done. And then I schedule a nap later in the day, especially if I know that I can schedule a nap. So that's what's taking place, is that there are 365 days in the year, and that's what you do. You wake up every single day. That's the morning routine. But this notion of on my off days, I sleep in, that's the problem. The off days are throwing off the rest of the days. So it's not an off day. It's just a day you don't go into work. And so if you say off, as soon as you say this is my day off, Oscar's going to say, it sure is, and we ain't doing shit. Or we got to do a bunch of housework, whatever. So we call it a Donza. When I was in the Army, they used to give us Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off once a month for our mental health. And so now we call it a Donza, but we call it a day of no scheduled assembly because Nola's company's name is Assemble. So it's a day of no scheduled assembly, but that doesn't mean that we're off. That means we're not assembling or hanging or doing anything for her business. It does not mean that we're not taking care of business. All right. Sarah said, it is okay to divert from a schedule if you're tired. Is it okay to divert from a schedule if you're tired? I will use myself as an example with the whole person not showing up for the task and then the task force that was outside of my window. And so that day I didn't get the dinner that I wanted and I did not stretch or exercise because of that. So the next day I was still physically tired. And so I did not stretch or exercise. And then yesterday I went back to stretching and exercising. So if you have had an exhausting day, you acknowledge, I am not doing these two things today that I would normally do because of this extended day that I had. But if you are just tired from not sleeping because you were scrolling, then no. So the reason why you're tired matters in the adjustment of the schedule. So if you just decided to chill, you talked to somebody you shouldn't have talked to, and now you're tossing and turning all night because you didn't do a brain dump, and you allowed unaccountable people to derail your day when you have full control over stopping that, then no, you do not make adjustments to your schedule at all. Not at all. And you acknowledge why. I'm tired because I'm sick of the people at work. No. I'm tired because these motherfuckers get on my nerves. No. You continue on using the schedule that you have. And what you do is you strengthen your discomfort in that area. Tiffany said, how can I help a person not be negative? You can't. All right. Let me delete this person. You can't. The best thing that you can do for yourself is remove yourself from that negative person. You can't. That's not your responsibility. That's their responsibility. You are not responsible for somebody else's negative ass brain that they myelinated for negativity. So you exit stage left. You, as we used to say in the Army, you will execute a about face and move out smartly. That's what you do. That's what you do. I'm scrolling up to get rid of these trolls. On my phone, so I don't have to. So nothing. That's what you can do. Teresa said, because we didn't just get this way overnight. That is correct. So now you want to undo it all in one night. That's Oscar. Remember, Oscar wants to hurry up and know when can he get back to doing what he's doing, and his ass is going back to the mailroom. He is believing that at some point he's going to take back over. And you're saying, no, you're not. That's why you have to myelinate it and go slow. You go slow to go fast. Teresa said, no, I'm actually going back to the beginning where it all took place. I didn't actually do this to myself. I was actually programmed. And I'm telling you, your brain is not strong enough to do that. I'm going to say this one more time. You are not using the system that I'm creating. You're in my system creating another system. I've said this and I'm going to say this again. That is not how this works. You are not doing the work that I am saying do. I am saying do the neural reps, and this will naturally take place. So now, again, you're going back. When did I say go back to your childhood and look at all that work? That's not this system. That's not. I'm saying do this one thing really well, and that's it. And that's it. Keep Miss Darlene online all day long, because this is not Miss Darlene being online, going back and searching for that. Miss Darlene is, I'm getting ready to do today the best that I can, and I'm getting ready to do my 2 levels up. And when you're focused on your 2 levels up, these things are naturally going to show up. So Nola did not communicate effectively in the 8th, starting in the 8th grade. And then she started her business. And then she realized in having her business, I am not communicating effectively. So then she had to go back at that point and say, why am I not communicating effectively? And here's what I need to do to communicate effectively. So that's when you go back. You go back because the thing that is stopping you from your 2 levels up is back there. But to say, I'm just going to go back, what does that have to do with your 2 levels up? You're going to get to it by going forward. And now you're going to be able to unpack it objectively so that you can say, here are the outages. I need to be able to talk on the phone. I need to be able to give instructions. I need to be able to tell people, send me photos. I need to hold people personally accountable because this is for my 2 levels up. But to sit there and say, this is what I'm getting ready to go back, you're in the past. You need to be focused on whatever your 2 levels up are. And this will happen naturally because now you're focused on the future and you're growing forward. But to just do that's therapy. That's not going to work. I'm saying have 2 levels up. Why is this your 2 levels up? And what is the strategy for your 2 levels up? And all the rest of that is going to come up. When it's time for it to come up, the brain will be ready to process that. The way you're doing it is not what I'm saying do. You're in this system executing a system that is not going to work. You're going and digging up something and you don't know if that's what, so you're wasting today digging up something that you think you need to work on when it may not be the thing that you need to be working on for your 2 levels up. So what you can do today is send me your 2 levels up and then you can focus on that. I'm going to use Bridget as an example if Bridget is on here. Bridget fucked around and did a brain dump in a level 4 Neuro Rep and she got a message from me. And she was talking about 9 pounds, 11 pounds, and everything else, and grands and all this other stuff inside of a Neuro Rep, and then didn't do the Neuro Rep. So Bridget got a message from me. That's a fucking brain dump. First of all, why are you doing brain dumps at level 4 in the Neuro Reps? Second of all, you need to be focused on your clinic. Don't write about nothing else but your clinic as it relates to these Neuro Reps. And now what do we have? 60 something days later or 70 days later? Bridget is getting ready to open her clinic because that is what she needs to be focused on. Because 9 pounds, 11 pounds, that shit been going on. It ain't changing because they're brains. They got their own brains. But what needs to be here is the Crohn's clinic for people with, irritable bowel syndrome and everything else. We don't have that because she focused in on that. That's not what this is. So what don't we have because you've decided that you're going to start thinking about all this other stuff that you didn't have? That's not this system. I'm saying why 2 levels up. What's the strategy for that? And then you're going to get to all of that. It took me, my MST finished out in 1996. 29 years later, I'm sitting and in processing at the VA and it just blurts out. The lady says, have you had any MST? And she was getting ready to write nope. And I said, yes. And she was like, oh, and it all came out. And then my future form gyrus shut down. And for 30 days, I couldn't picture anybody else's faces. And now that's over. And everything for them 29 years that was associated with that MST is gone now. It's gone. But that's because I was in a different situation that had nothing to do with it. Here I am thinking, okay, let me establish care, yada, yada, yada. And this question shows up. And now they have a name for it. And now I'm prepared because I'm no longer in these toxic environments. I'm far enough away from that I can handle this and process it and still be able to function in my day. So it's 2 levels up. Why? That's your 2 levels up. Work on that every single day, and these things will naturally show up as they need to show up. All right. Sarah said, Neuro Reps are helping me stay sober. Do I still need to go to the meetings and get a sponsor? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. This ain't AA. This for your brain. No, you need to be in that room every day saying, my name is Sarah and I'm an alcoholic. Every day. And you need to work on every last one of them motherfucking steps. And then you need to stay in that program and you need to become a sponsor. And then you need to become a grand sponsor. Yeah. It's recovering. ING. You are never recovered. You are an alcoholic. Just like doggone Lacey is a foodaholic. Good morning, Roniel. Monique says, is it negativity bias when I doubt or am skeptical about something, or is it a growth opportunity to fact check it? Being that the brain is wired for negativity bias, ego protection. Here's what I will say about negativity bias. Negativity bias already has it has a narrative for it. It's got scaffolding for it. So growth opportunities feel different. And that's why when you get to level 4, the first 30 days are, what is your Insula saying about this thing? The predicting brain, what did you think it was going to be? And then what is your ACC doing with the friction? Because those two are notifying you of what is taking place in your body and your brain. And there is a mismatch. Ms. Brenda Jones like, I don't know about this. And then from there, you send that information forward for the actual executive function to process what's taking place. And as Nola and I had a conversation a couple of days ago, motherfuckers is entirely too emotional. The brain is a mechanism that was used for AI and for computer code. It's very logical. It's extremely logical. And because of these comfort, safety, survival, seeking toddler ass brains, and that's what we can see, everybody's focused on the behavior instead of what's happening neurologically. So when you find yourself sitting with something and deciding what this friction is this negativity bias or is it growth? All you got to do is process it. And if it feels emotional, then it's negativity bias. And if it's logically, it's time for me to start going live. That's not negativity bias. That's the actual thing. So here's a great way to look at it. If it's tangible and logical, it's a growth opportunity for you. If it's tangible and it's logical, it's actually coming from the executive function of the brain. If you can actually say step 1, step 2, step 3, and you can logically follow through, that's actually the executive function saying this is a strategy. But as soon as you start saying, well, they might do this, and I think they're going to do this, and then they might say this, and all of that, that's toddler brain. And now you are experiencing neurological hitchhiking with some emotional furniture. When you find yourself being emotional, not experiencing feelings, it's negativity bias, it's comfort, safety, and survival, and it's coming from unaccountable people. That's all you got to do. As soon as you feel like this and hitting it, it's an unaccountable brain in the midst. Go look for it. And sometimes it's yours, so you might have to go look in the mirror. That's what's actually taking place. That's what's actually taking place. So as soon as it gets emotional, not feelings, not your own feelings, but as soon as it's coming from out here, where it's a somatic marker, it came from an unregulated, unaccountable comfort, safety, survival brain. And that's when you have to step back and say, well, what's happening neurologically? What's happening? And do I feel like, do I need to engage with this? If I do, I'm going to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. I'm going to have a strategy for this situation. And then I'm going to get in and get out as quickly as possible. All right. Is it social conditioning that happens with code switching, or is it a habit of survival? Initially, the code switching was for survival, and now it's just code switching. Rarely is it the case that your life is actually online. Now, I'm not a code switcher, never been good at it, never been Pepsi pretty. I haven't been able to do it. And so the code switching is to make the group comfortable. But embrace diversity is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So you switch so the other group doesn't have to feel discomforted. That's what that's about. Prime example, yesterday I was getting my nails done and we were finished with my pedicure, and my nail tech was telling me about her Tesla and how that's a whole nother story for a different day. We don't have time for it. And so she was saying that she wanted to be nice because it's not the people's fault that she's talking to and all of that. I said, you're going to have to turn into Mama Bear. Okay, your son starts school next week and you need to drop him off, and he goes to a private school, so they have to get through a gate. They got to have the thing, the sticker on their car, everything else. I said, you need to go to the grocery store and everything else, and it's been a week and your Tesla ain't fixed yet, so you need to go ham and burger. You need to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They need to. She said, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to go there. I said, go there. You need to go there and you need to stay there until you get your car, you get a loaner, because these Uber credits ain't fucking working. And you didn't have to pay for 2 Uber credits because they forgot to put them in over the weekend. It's time for you to go ham and burger. Point blank, period. Now we're sitting here. They call me Dr. Donna at the shop and everything else, but I'm going to say it is time for you to go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I'm not going to say, and Darlene, I know sometimes you just said, no, go ham and burger and throw some cheese on that bitch too if you need to. So this whole notion of not being yourself because you don't know who you are. Because when you know who you are, you cannot code switch. It's impossible to do. Now, having a conversation with a toddler is not the same as having a conversation with somebody in their 80s, an octogenarian. So you treat people with dignity and respect until they start these raggedy trolls on the internet, but you don't have to change. I still have my Midwestern accent, where there's some words that I need to learn how to pronounce and still some more. But this prosody that I have, I'm not like, ha, 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 ha. So I'm going to make you feel real comfortable around me. No, I'm not going to talk in my lower prosody. Oh, yeah. You guys are so funny. Yeah. I'm not about to do that shit. I'm not. Why am I switching? For what? Can I go and shoot some craps if I need to? Can I go play some spades if I need to? That's just part of me. Can I go and sit at a plated high-end dinner? I sure can. That's part of me. But I'm not switching. I'm still me. So no code switching necessary. Oscar made that shit necessary. Yes, it was for survival. And now it's not. It's just people not knowing who they are, and then people not wanting to embrace who other people are. So I need you to make me feel comfortable around you. So what's your nickname? I don't have one. What do you like to be called? Donna? Nothing else, Donna. That's what you can call me, Donna. That's what's on my paycheck. That's what's on my ID. That's what's on all my government IDs and everything else. So you can call me Donna. That's what you can do. Well, yeah, we just want to make sure. Yep, Donna. That works. That definitely works. That's why I pulled up to my corporate job in my Benz, sitting on them things, dual exhaust and all of that, with my fur coats and my diamond rings and my Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang. I sure did, because I'm here to do a fucking job. This is what I want to wear to work. You ain't got to wear. You can wear what you wear, and I'm wearing what I'm wearing. I'm going to go ahead and get this work done. I'm going to pull back out in the woo and go do what I do. That's what's going to happen. So I'm not going to, I don't drink. Well, you sure don't, but you can have wine. I'm going to have Pellegrino in a glass with a stem. That's what I'm going to have. I'm not having a shot of shit. I'm going to have some water. And I want to watch and pour it in case you motherfuckers want to put some more shit in my drinks. I had that experience once. Not going to have that happen again either. So no, when you know who the fuck you are, ain't no code switch, and it's not necessary. Miss Darlene says everybody is well. Oscar's ass is the one who's like, ooh, you're making me discomforted. So, well, here, do what we're doing so we can be comfortable around you. You're a little exotic for us. Then I ain't going to be around here. It's not necessary anymore. And if you got to do it, leave. That's why I left my fucking corporate job. Because they wanted me to switch and I wouldn't. It wasn't going to be fucking Pepsi pretty. Comparisons. Let me see where I'm at. Yeah. So Tiffany said, question 3. When starting your dissertation, how did you know it was going to be something to use forever? Because here's what I used to start my dissertation. They said pick something that's got a lot of fucking research on it, and it's going to be easy to do. And I was like, nah. Instinctively, once again, I'm like, that's what y'all doing. I said, first of all, I'm gonna be working on this shit for 1 or 2 years, damn near every fucking day. So I ain't gonna pick that shit because I don't want to get sick of this topic. And then I said, I'm at my job more than any other place. I'm raising Nola. I was dating back then. I'm like, I got to use the time that I have wisely. So I'm literally going to do something on this motherfucker that I'm at 8 to 12, sometimes 14, 16 hours in a day, depending on call offs. I'm going to do something that's right here. So I picked something that I was already doing because my degree is in organizational leadership. I'm like, I'm going to pick some leadership things. And I'm like, here are some problems. We got level 4 teams, we got level 3 teams, we got level 2 teams, we got level 1 teams. And an organization works better when everybody is high performing. So I picked something based upon my work, where I was at, that I knew people gonna always need leadership, people gonna always have jobs. So let me pick something that is going to be here forever. Now, there are people who pick things like children in impoverished neighborhoods and all of that. Most people pick a topic that has a lot of research that they're never going to fucking use again. And I believe that that's a waste of research, that's a waste of effort, and that's a waste of time. So picking something that you know will have meaning long after you're gone is something that you have to sit with. Now, I struggled with references because, first of all, the references could have been more than 10 years old, and it wasn't a lot of books out there. So that was my hardest part. But I picked something that didn't have a lot of information, but I knew that it had the ability to grow. So if it's got a small amount of information on it, that's the thing that you pick if you want to take away, because that is where the growth is. Dame Dash said, never hustle on a crowded block. So people pick those raggedy ass topics. You can talk to people with their doctorates and ask them what their doctorates is in, and then see what they're doing. And that shit ain't got nothing to do with what they're currently doing, because they were like, I just need this to get through. So people write dissertations to get approved by their board and their chair, their committee, and then now they're a doctorate. They got a PhD, a MD, whatever the fuck. I'm not an MD, but an EDD, and they off doing something else. And most of them don't. Most people that got doctorates don't even like doing research, so then they never do any more research either. But they just want to be called doctor. So let me know if I answered your question. All right. Do you have any tips for me to further improve my communication? Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing, Nola. This is the best communication that you've ever done. So now you're just refining and defining it. So I wouldn't say, I would say prosody is something that you can work on. Because remember, if you're confused or you read something and it had big font, then you start talking louder based upon how you got the information. So turning down the prosody is probably the only thing that I would say currently that you need to be working on. All right, Monique said, comparison versus mirror neurons versus Oscar. I watched a travel vlogger experiencing the goals I would like to have as they tackled fears that are minds. Is this the brain rationalizing the fears are not valid enough? I have moments of comparison, and that is also achievable. Monique, you are Monique, Momo the travel fairy. And I can understand watching other people that are travel vloggers, but you are not a travel vlogger. So you're done watching them. If you want to watch something for improvement, watch yourself, take notes for what you've done and what would you like to improve. So if you, I know, notice like every 10 minutes or so, at least 3 to 4 times during a live, because more people are coming, you say, I'm Momo the travel fairy and I'm doing this. So you are not a travel vlogger like them. And so when you're watching them, as I said, all the travel vloggers do the exact same thing. If you watch 50 travel vloggers, they all have the same thing. Either you have people who do small trips, they all operate the same. People who go do earth things, like they're mountain climbers and all of that. There is a travel vlog script that everybody follows because that is a job for them. But this is a calling for you and it's a passion for you. So don't get caught up in the scaffolding of vlogging. So stop comparing yourself to them. The way you improve is to keep doing it. You have about 8 lives or something like that. So you're talking to somebody that's been live for 1,004 days. How you're going to improve is you keep going live and you watch your lives and take the feedback that I'm giving you, and your lives will turn into what they need to turn into. This is not what I was originally doing 1,004 days ago. Give it room to grow, because if you compare yourself to them, you're going to put yourself in a nice little vlogger box, and then there will be no more fairy dust anywhere. So you're done watching them, watch you, and keep going live, and actually watch your lives and assess what you need to do, what you like to improve for next time. That's the best thing that you can do. Jerry said yes. Lacey said, wow, good information. Got it. Got it? It's what was myelinated that bursts the craving behavior. Woo. I've been watching the Oscar video a few times, and that answer you gave is key. Thanks, Dr. Donna. My pleasure. Regina said, good morning, everyone listening. What are the benefits of a strong network, both personally and professionally? And then question number 2, I'm still struggling with visualize your goals. Suggestions, please. Okay, what are the benefits of a strong network, both professionally and personally? When you have a strong network professionally and personally, there is a level 3 Neuro Rep, what is about being around high functioning people. So, what it does is it allows you to use the principle of real leadership, grow continually. It also increases your technical competence. It allows you to go above and beyond, meet your potential, set and maintain high standards, be the best. Because what's happening is when you, and they're balanced too, they actually, and it's empower others. So when you're around that group of people, naturally, the elevation of the group's cognitive functionality increases because people will be naturally sharing best practices with each other. And so there won't, and Karen wrote about this the other day, that she's surrounded by some people who, a group of people, you meet up twice a year. There is no competition because you all believe in each other and you just genuinely want the best for that person. So when you have those people around you, which you don't have is dumbass text messages like, you ain't gonna believe this shit what these motherfuckers did today, and this is what happened at the job, and I'm about to catch a case. All of that negativity bias goes away. You use the principle of real leadership, think positive, and collectively, everybody just gets better. So that's the benefit of having a personal and professional network of people who are high functioning. That's the real true crux of it. And it's diverse. So everybody isn't the same. Notice over here that everybody is not the same. And so you can take a best practice and use it in whatever it is that you're doing. So Monique goes live, Lacey makes videos, and I'm saying here, and Tiffany is about to start posting on social media. Sarah needs to go live more. Jared is going live. He keeps saying, no, he ain't. I ain't even giving fuck what the fuck he's saying. I said what I said. And so I'm saying, go live every day. And here are some suggestions for how you go live. Now take that and customize it how you see fit. The second question is, I'm struggling with visualizing your goals. Suggestions, please. Finish your business plan first. So the reason why you can't visualize your goals yet is because you never really had any goals. And that's why you're struggling. You went to work, you did your job, you retired, and then now you're doing this. So you never said, here's a goal of mine. You had a couple goals when you went to college, but once you graduated, became a mom and a wife and all of that, and a school teacher, there were no goals. Your goal was get to the end of the school year. So it wasn't this BHAG, this big, hairy, audacious goal. So as soon as you finish your business plan and get your business up and running, then you will be able to visualize your goals. So it's not something that you can do right now, even though because even when you started doing Real Leader Resources, you didn't necessarily say, my goal when I get to 365 days is this. My Duolingo streak is over 365 days. So as a boomer, it's not something that y'all naturally do. And you will be able to do it when you're working on something that was your idea. You having a vending company business was your idea. So you're currently working on that goal. And when it not finally, but when it shows up, now you're going to say, here's my sales goal. I'm going to get another machine and do this. Here's what I want to do. I want to see if this product works. So let me see if this chip works better than this drink. So then you'll start having goals to actually visualize. But right now, you're working on the goal that you're visualizing, which is to start your company and run a successful vending company business. Raniel said, sometimes when I speak, I come off as if I have an attitude, aggressive. How can that be changed? Inhibitory control when taking a pause first. First of all, African American women have been told that they are aggressive and they are brash. What is really happening is we will hold your bitch ass personally accountable. And so the narrative has been for us to stop doing that. So we will stop holding people personally accountable. People accuse me of being aggressive. I said it's assertive. People have accused me of being angry. I said stern. I will be stern with Nola at this prosody, and she will say, stop yelling at me. And I will say, I'm not yelling at you right now. I'm telling you that you didn't do what you need to do, and I'm asking you why you didn't do it. See, I'm not yelling, but that's sternness. So that's on them. That's not on you. Now, what you can do is continue to read every single day because reading is fundamental. So what is happening is your word choice. You don't have enough vocabulary in your personal lexicon to communicate with other people. So talking is not the same as communicating effectively. And so you don't have a verbose vocabulary to draw from. Additionally, my recommendation is that you also join Toastmasters, because Toastmasters will help you with your communications, blind sides, and faux pas. Because you will get up, and Toastmasters is a communication and leadership organization. It seems like you're just giving speeches. But if you are someone who doesn't do well with time, then now you have to give a speech between 5 to 7 minutes. If you're someone who can't give people feedback, then you become a speech evaluator or a general evaluator. If you find yourself not being able to facilitate meetings, then you become the Toastmaster for the day. So all of those meeting roles, if you need a leadership experience, then you become a club officer. So it allows you for $120 a year to be able to become a more effective communicator and a more effective leader. So you haven't been taught how to communicate effectively. So I was a terrible communicator, and that's what I put in my book. I was just talking crazy like my jaw broke. And then I had to learn, because effective communication is a learned skill. I had to learn how to communicate effectively. And the best way to get that done as an adult is don't take a speech class, because that's just giving speech. Communicate effectively, which is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, means you need more words. They do word of the day at Toastmasters as well. But being in a club, and they got all kind of clubs. They have hybrid clubs, meeting clubs that you go to for professional. I was in Bon Appetit. We met once a month and ate, and then had our meeting. So there are themed clubs everywhere you go. It's an international organization. But that's what you need to do, because it's the prosody and the lack of vocabulary. All right. Raniel said, why would someone constantly mask themselves? Because they don't feel safe in a certain environment. People are afraid to be themselves. It took me 51 years to come out as a nerd, because people made me feel bad for being a nerd. So it's a matter of you accepting yourself. And people, the LBGT communities has coming out. Diana Ross made a song about it, but everybody needs to come out. Everybody, between your family and your stuckmily and your stands and your job and churches, religious organizations, and everything else, they make it impossible for you to be the real you. They make it about you a Christian and you cursing. I said, who do you think God sent in these wars? These wars, there are gangster Christians, and they're just words. They're just words. So we're not going to make it seem like I'm a sinner and you ain't. That's not what's about to happen. So you have all of these people, social conformity theory, saying you look like this, so you should be this way. And you were born over here, so stay over there. So people, ostracized, unaccountable people, are the reason why people are masking themselves. I can't show them this. I can't tell them this, because they're going to say this and they're going to do that. And now you become hypervigilant. And now your parasympathetic system, as Teresa said, can't rest and reset, because everybody's on high state of alert because of toddler brain saying, you're different. You're making me uncomfortable. I don't feel safe because you have on a synthetic wig. And so now we are not embracing diversity. It's a very emotional existence, just like toddlers. Toddlers specifically, are quite emotional beings. And now we're just adults doing that same stuff. Everybody tries to appease the toddler so the toddler won't yell and holler and cry and shit. And look at us now. All right, Tiffany said, what was the earliest you had Nola reading serious books? Did you have a list? No, Nola, yell me the answer, because it's going to be too far. What was you, 3rd grade? Reading serious books? Books that had basically nonfiction books anymore. So the Who Was books and all of that. Were you 3rd or 4th grade? 3rd grade. 8. So no, we didn't have a list. What she did was she went to the school library and she checked out books on Monday, and she had to read. By 5th grade, she was reading Who Was books. So because school started at 9, she had to wake up at 6 and finish her Who Was books, and then go take, I think it was an AR test on it every day. So she finished the whole Who Was book section and some other things. But I was taking her to the library when I was 5 months pregnant. I was reading Green Eggs and Ham and had the headphones on my belly listening to classical music. So there have always been books in the house from the beginning. But she herself was reading at a higher level. Like I said, she's in the 5th grade reading at 8th grade level. Regina said, piggyback question, expand on developing your vision. How do you know what your potential is, and how do you meet your potential? So again, I think I answered it because I was still talking. You probably typed this while I was still talking. And so again, your vision is based upon your why and your strategy. You're 2 levels up. And then how do you know what your potential is? It's the shit that's making you uncomfortable. So your potential is anything that's discomforting. Like Jared is going to be going live if he's still on here. He's saying he's not. He actually is, and we're going to all laugh at him when he does because it's going to happen. And so the potential is the ability to do something that you don't know is possible, but you actually have the ability to do it. And as a result of that, Monique had the potential to go live and give the travel community something different to see and information. And she's been traveling since she was 14 years old without parental supervision, but not adult supervision. And she has been all over places. She has been a chef on yachts. She has been a chef on cruise ships. And so she's had these unique travel experiences that we didn't know was even something that could happen. And so she has the potential to be a travel expert herself. She just needed a strategy for it because she was listening to her friends. I was like, this shit ain't gonna work here. This is how you're gonna get this done. So, and you meet your potential because of the why and the strategy. So you have more than one potential. So I had the potential to become a distinguished Toastmaster, and I did. And once you master it, you move on, you move forward. I had it live about that. So I'm not still in Toastmasters. I'm not still chartering clubs and everything else because I did that. I chartered 2 clubs and they went select, distinguished, and president's distinguished. I'm finished. There's nothing left for me to do in Toastmasters, but I still believe it is a very good organization. And that's why I keep telling people to go. I had the potential to become Dr. Donna, and I'm Dr. Donna. So I don't need to go get another doctorate. I don't need to go get 3 more master's degree because I met my potential. I mastered it and I moved on. And that's why I've been able to accomplish so much in life because of I had the potential to do this. I have the potential to become a commissioned officer in the Army. I did that. I had the potential to get a 1 block. I did that. I had potential to have company command. I did that. And now I have the potential to change humanity. That's what I'm working on. Let me know if I answered your question. All right. You had to step away. Hopefully you're back, Regina. Bridget said, how do I calm my anxiety when I start to declutter? I know it's Oscar trying to disrupt the process. You need a strategy for it, Bridget. So if you're going to start with the junk drawer in the kitchen, then you say, today I'm going to tackle the bottom junk drawer in the kitchen, and you're done. Don't try to do the whole closet. Don't do storage units. Don't do the fucking garage. Start small and pick one thing every day that you're going to declutter. If it's the left side of your desk, I decluttered the left side of my desk. I'm done. I ain't doing nothing else. If it's, I'm going to declutter my right side of my closet. I'm going to declutter the top shelf of my closet. I'm going to go and do the 1 bathroom cabinet, not the mister's, but mine. And I'm going to declutter that. I'm going to declutter my medicine cabinet. You take it one cluttered item at a time. You're going to take your purse and dump it on the floor, on the table, and declutter that. So what you're myelinating is I declutter, not let me get all this shit done tomorrow. And now Oscar will be quiet because Oscar ain't going to say shit for a drawer. I'm going to fold up all the t-shirts in this drawer, and then I'm done. Okay. Good morning, Chris. What does it mean to live your truth? I said that. I'm saying be who you are. There's a whole section in my book for authentic. It's REA. So you get to the A, the third section of the book is be authentic. And so what it means is you can't get to your best if you aren't living in who you actually are. You can't get to your best because the brain is going to say, I can't do that because that goes against the ego. I can't do that because people think I'm this. I can't do that. So that's why I take my wig off. Everybody around me made me feel bad for having alopecia, and I never got to process how I feel about having alopecia. Ooh, your kid's gonna have it. Don't do that. Why don't you spray it? Here's how you can cover up your bald spot. We never sat down and said, hey, you got this immune deficiency. How do you feel about that? My sister, when I first moved here, used to say, people would say, oh, I like your hair. I'm like, oh, thank you, it's a wig. Why are you telling people that? They don't need to know that that's a wig. That's your business. Because I don't care. Because if they see me tomorrow, I'm probably not going to have this wig on. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem taking my wig off and showing my bald hyperpigmentation head. That's my truth. I have alopecia. Why is my bald head impacting so many other people? It's my bald head. I'm the one that had hair, and by the time I was 19, the shit started falling out. I've not had hair longer than I had hair. Because if you think about the baby years, I probably was from 2 to 17, 2 to 19. I probably had hair for about 17, 16, 17 years, and that's it. And after that, the shit started falling out, and I'm covering it up, and I'm trying to do this. I'm going to get shots in my head and all of that because me having alopecia made everybody else uncomfortable. You see how that's some Oscar-fied shit? And finally, I'm growing it. And one day, I think it was 2017, 2018 or something like that, Nola was like, just shave it. And the same clippers that I shaved it off when I found out what it was, still had, shaved the shit off. And now I use a Harry's razor and shaving cream. And I literally shave my head on Mondays unless I got ingrown hair. So that's living your truth. That's me saying, I got gang rape at Michigan State, and everybody turned it into Donna got drunk at a party and got a train ran on her. That's my truth. That's not what happened. I had 2 boyfriends in high school. That sounded like somebody that was going in 3 months go do all that. 3 months later in the same calendar year, I was a PFC in the Army Reserves. And they had our ROTC scholarship. That's just not the behavior of me. So you have to be able to tell the truth because other people will use shame as a weapon against you. So you're not going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I don't want 5 years from now y'all hearing all these stories about my family, and I'm trying to make it seem like we a nucleus family and shit, and they a bunch of fucking addicts, and my sister is a hoe. That's the truth. That's it. So it's freeing because you don't have to die with the lie. Lies that you hold in your body is damaging your brain. That's why you tell the truth. You live your actual truth, your existence of what happened to you. And now no one can use it against you. Your brain is not going to use it against you because I'm not the only one who got gang raped in the 90s. I'm not the only one. Bill Cosby, everybody was dropping shit in women's drinks back then and thinking that shit was acceptable. That's what happened to so many of us because that's what they did back then. I'm sure they got some new shit they doing now. All right. Good morning, Chris. And Raniel said, when making a daily schedule, should we try to myelinate one part at a time? For example, getting the morning routine myelinated, then working on one as a nighttime routine. Yes, that's what you need to do. The most important routine that you have for the morning is for the day is the morning routine because that sets your day. And so the night routine is less important initially because you want to have a good day. So if you have a Miss Darlene day, then your night is going to go smoother. If you work on the night routine and all hell breaks loose in the morning, you ain't going to be able to do a brainwash at night. So if you have to pick between the two initially, go ahead and pick the morning routine. And when you have that myelinated, now you can start because you'll know based upon my day, I've been running my day. This is how I want my night to end so that I can get my melatonin down, the adenosine is built up, and I'm going to go ahead and get me 3 to 4 REM cycles in to get this brainwash going in. Go ahead and get rid of this person. Jared said, okay. I'm not sure what he's saying okay to. No, I'm not getting rid of Dr. Oligodendrocytes. All right. Bridget said, are these Neuro Reps appropriate for children? What type of Neuro Reps can I send home with the grant? None. You cannot do this at their home, Bridget. I keep telling you that. The grand is going to turn 18 and then you will have access. The Neuro Reps are not going to work in your daughter's home. It's not going to work. Okay? You can't. You keep trying to do this and you cannot do this. Okay? It's a different environment. It's not going to work. The only thing that you can do is control the environment that is taking place in your house. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That's your grandchild. That's your daughter's child. And your granddaughter has to get whatever she has to get from her mother for whatever she needs to do in her life. And you're disrupting that. So baby chickens have to break themselves out of their own thing. And you're taking away whatever growth opportunities that she has to have in that environment for her adult life. You're attempting to make it so she ain't going to have to toughen up things. And that's not good too. She has to experience discomfort. She has to have that experience for what is coming in the future. And you're attempting to myelinate that, prune that, but you don't know what she's going to need. You're assessing it from the other side and saying, this ain't going to work and this ain't going to work. But we don't know what the world is going to, she's 11. We have no idea what the world is going to look like 40 years from now. So you cannot do that. Okay, I told you what to focus on. When she is at your house, that's what you own, control, and influence. You do not own, control, and influence when she's at her mother's home. So nothing. Jared said, I will start there because I was sleeping on my days off. Got it. Raniel said, what does it mean when someone is always acting as a contrarian, going against most things? Is that similar to trolling? I'm not answering that question. That question ain't got nothing to do with you. So I will not be processing that question at all. You can say what is neurologically taking place for me when I'm having that experience, but I don't know what the situation is and I don't know what their brain is doing. So I told you I'm not answering questions about other people and that specificness of that. This is you and your brain. Or if it is in general. And I know you'll say, well, why did I answer the question about Tiffany? Because Tiffany is saying that from her perspective of being in a relationship with the man, where is that coming from? So I'm answering that question. But that right there that's too vague. Dr. Olagun said, how do I maintain objective decision making given a self-identified stress response process in a breach, abuse of trust? It is a function of time or brain dumps, or how do I know I can trust my perception? Dr. Olagun, you're not going to want to hear this, but you will not be in that partnership with your business partner past, I'm going to give y'all 6 to 12 months. So I don't have to answer that question because this ain't going to work. I know you probably don't want to hear that, but you're in business with the wrong person. So that's my answer to you. Jared said, once I find a deal for my business, can I go get financing for it from a bank? Yeah, you can. Dr. Oligon, there is one nice Neuro Rep picture exercise that will show you aren't ready for that trip to the past. Please trust the process. That's what he's telling you that, Teresa. Did you answer my question? I believe I did answer your question, Nola. You can yell if I did or didn't. Remember, it was a whole bunch of people ahead of you. So I believe I answered your question if you're talking about the communication question. Dr. Olagon, how do I uphold my core principles of real leadership given a compromised partnership dynamic and the challenge of perceived lack of integrity? I already answered that question. Never mind. Thank you for the clarity from Monique. Embrace diversity. Yes, it's anti-code switching. Dr. Olagun, how do I model regulated principle leaderships given upcoming high stakes conversation and the challenge for a likely defensive fight or flight? Again, I answered that already. How do I foster mutual cognitive rewiring given my partner's potential lack of self-awareness? I'm gonna ask you this, Dr. Olagun. How you get Shay on the lives and how you get your whole family bought into real leadership. Because the only way that partnership is going to work is for your partner to become a real leader. So whatever conversation you have with her, that's the conversation that you got to have with him because it's still a partnership. So you're in business with their brain. So you're asking me how to stay in business with a personally unaccountable person. And I'm saying it's impossible. That's why I'm not in business with my sister or I'm not doing business strategy series anymore. It is impossible for a personally accountable person to be in a successful relationship with a personally unaccountable person. Notice I said in a relationship. I didn't say what kind of relationship. I said it is impossible for a personally accountable person to be in a relationship with an unaccountable person and that relationship be successful. It is impossible to do. So whatever you did to get your whole family on board, that's the conversation that you have with this person, or you need to figure out another business opportunity for yourself. Yes, 8 or so lives. There you go. Yes, Monique said, thank you for the feedback about assessing my own works. Thank you for the clarity. I can stop trying to put myself in a box that is already packed to capacity. It is, and it's a tight ass box. Dr. Olagun said, I am interested in hosting lives to help non-CS people take better advantage of AI. Previous lives have been on philosophy and metaphysics. Should I create a new channel? No, because you want to see what you were doing. So if you look at my YouTube channel, it started out with Answers Are Us. And so that's what the logo and everything was. If you start a new channel, then you can't see the progression of that. So you want it to be there so that it's there to see how far you've come. Monique says, is this a lesson I am needing improvement? advocating for self. When I hesitate and miss the opportunity to speak up for myself, it's almost imprinted as a reminder of discomfort, a nudge to work through again. Yes, you are doing that. What you can do is brain dump as to why you myelinated that. When did it first start happening? And now, because your insulin and ACC are measuring that, the tension in your body, and the ACC is measuring the friction, is coming online now. And so what you need is a strategy for advocating for yourself for these opportunities that you have. Because the reason why you keep missing them is because when they show up, you don't have I want that opportunity strategy. So you need to have that strategy. Remember, don't do anything without a why or a strategy. And if something keeps reoccurring, like we're no longer doing clauses again, because I didn't strategize, we'll do it this way, do this, and no matter what, it's a fucking shit show. I'm like, we're not going to be doing this to our parasympathetic system. Fuck this. You do not have to do clauses. Somebody else can do clauses. We're not doing it anymore. Just like Nola doesn't do Besta units and she doesn't do floating shells, because sometimes it's just the people or sometimes it's just the system. But now we know that. And so she mastered it and moved on. So for you, you need a strategy for this occurrence. And then you will naturally know, okay, it's time for me to ask for this opportunity. It's a missed opportunity. I'm not advocating for myself. And so as women, because we are taught this whole women role, that you don't go do this man shit and ask for shit and accept less payments and all of that, then you don't do it. And I'm saying, fuck that shit. If you can do the go work and it's a growth opportunity for you, go sign up for that. I mean, Nola would have never made it to the strips. I asked her one year what she wanted to do, and she said, I want to work on the strip. Say less. Let's go get this done. I want to work in conventions. Bet. Here you go. And now she's done all of that. So and that's meeting your potential too, Virginia, if you're listening. And so that's what's actually taking place is, again, dysregulated, personally unaccountable ass Oscar's brains set up these fucking rules that said, if you look like this and you sound like this and you are this gender or you identify as this work ain't for you. There's no reason for Nola to be the only female in Clark County in mounting. As many millions of people live here and as many people are on TaskRabbit. The only one. And every time we go to mount something, a woman is there saying, oh my goodness, I'm so happy it was a woman here. I'm so happy you're doing mounting. Because we had stopped doing televisions. And then there was a group of people who were just like, I don't know, and then I need them to put this up, and they came back to the house and all of that. So I'm saying, go ahead and do it. Challenge yourself. Take risk. All right. Andrea said, my mother put fact books in the bathroom when I was a kid. I still remember some of those facts. Hey, if you're going to be sitting there for a minute, you might as well be reading. Nola said, do you think if people want to improve, they need to start with real leadership? Hell yeah. It's the foundation for everything that you do. Monique, I asked you. You was in therapy this time last year. You wasn't doing nothing you was posting sporadically. You had your Grenada video that you posted from last year. We saw that. So what's your thoughts, Monique? People need to start with real leadership if they attempting to do something grandiose. So D Jenny, if you're still on here, you can start doing Neuro Reps. You can message me on Instagram. I will let that comment stay. Why they ain't delete this shit, YouTube? All right, Dr. Oligodendrocytes said, in asking questions, I actually arrived at that exact question to myself. Why did I see it as absolutely essential to get Miss Shayi and her kids? That was my answer. So I agree. Yes, and her kids. Y'all kill me with that. I believe I will bring this up as an option and a requirement. Yes. Raniel said, 5, what does it mean if I keep running to distractions instead of sitting in my thoughts? Yes, ma'am. Real leader principles are necessary. The personal accountability. What does it mean if I keep running to distractions instead of sitting with my thoughts? You are avoiding yourself. That's what it means. You don't want to be with yourself because you are. And when you actually are with yourself, you're going to discover what I said, and you about to marry the wrong person. I said it and I'm going to keep saying it. I'm going to say it, and I'm not going to stop. Don't invite me to your wedding because if they say if anybody object, I'm standing up. And I'm saying that you got this narrative in your head And now you are not going to not deal with the fact that this ain't what you're supposed to be doing. That's what's happening. If you sit down long enough, you're going to undo all that shit. That's why you're avoiding it. You keep trying to make the shit work. It's not going to work. Even if you try to make it work, he is not the one. That situation is not the one. And I'm going to keep saying it, and I don't give a fuck if he's listening. I actually don't. And Dr. Olagun said, final question. It is starting to feel like dragging us out of dysfunction. It's self-serving because I'm getting a faint perception of how unbearable it is to countenance the dysregulated. Yeah, you can't do that shit. And I don't have my reading glasses on right now because the glare is going to get. I got new glasses coming in 2 weeks. None of this shit is working. Sarah said, how can I take small steps if I already have time and effort worked into things you're saying I'm not ready for? You're going to abandon all that shit. Okay, let me explain something to y'all. And just let them go. Yes. Let me explain something to y'all. I don't know if y'all know this, but I was in the Army. I may have mentioned it a couple times. So I'm one of the very few people that was enlisted and an officer that went to basic training, but then became an executive officer in a basic training unit. That's a small group. And if Chris and Desmond are on here, y'all can attest to that. It's a small ass group, because I don't even know if they still have executive officers in basic training units. They have company commanders, but not executive officers. So what they do, and I've said this before, when you go to basic training, you fly in at night, you arrive at night, and you go to reception battalion. It's all cool and chill. You like, oh, this ain't gonna be bad. Then you get all your shit at CIF and everything else. They put your ass on the cattle cars or the buses, and then the drill sergeant comes on the bus and says, hey, Private, what you're gonna do is you're gonna front load your rucksack, and you're gonna get off, and when you come out, you're gonna make a right, and then you're gonna go to the barracks. You like, yeah, this is cool. Your ass get off that bus and hit that corner, and they got every fucking drill sergeant in the damn battalion. Dog! Dog! And you're like, ah! And shit falling off, you crying and screaming. And the objective is to get your weak ass back on that bus. We don't need no fucking weak links. Get your ass back on the bus. Then what do? We take all your shit from you. You got them ugly ass BCG birth control glasses. They shave the men's hair off. Everybody look exactly the fucking same. We tell you how to put your uniform on and your boots. And then slowly but surely, the first 2 to 3 weeks is probably longer than that because basic training is longer than that. It's called total control. And what's happening? We're saying you were a civilian and now you got to be a soldier. And now this is what it takes to be a soldier. And you got to let all that other shit go because you ain't going to make it through basic training. I never seen somebody make it through basic training and not cry. At some point, something is going to fuck with you and you're going to find out where your weaknesses are. And that's what this is over here. And so you can't go to Army basic training talking about what the Marines do at Parris Island. You can't talk about what the Navy is doing. You got to be in basic training because you decided you was going to be in the Army. You're going to be an MP. I was a 71 Golf when I went to basic training. Then we became a 31 Alpha. And now I don't think neither one of those are MOSs. But the point is, I'm saying do this. And that's it. And over time, as Dr. Olagun said, trust the process. And you were saying, well, I want to work on this. I want to work on that. And I want to work on that. And I'm saying, well, then don't work on this. Because you can't do both. You can't do that and this. You're going to miss this working on something else. This is it. Do this, and in time, it will all make sense. Because I studied human beings and developed a system based upon how human beings' brains work in day-to-day life when life is life and people are peopling. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying use this system or not. You don't have to because it's volunteer work. You do not have to be over here. But if you're over here, there is no getting, I'm going to add this with this. This isn't you bought a rotisserie chicken at Whole Foods and now you're going to come home, put it back in the oven and put some seasoning on this. That's not what this is. This is a system that is based off of 39 years of human observation, 20 years of research, and now 2 years, damn near, of neuroscience. I'm saying do not combine this with anything else because what you're going to do is reduce what I'm saying do. And then it's not going to work. And then you're going to say that doesn't work. That doesn't work. And now I believe that I'm at the end. I'm not. Let me scroll up. So Monique is saying, I got more. This ain't the same. Monique is saying, how is it that I struggle to write things down and want to leave it to memory? You mentioned it yesterday, and I don't have a great organized note taking and discarded system. These messages everywhere. There's messages everywhere. So what you need to do is have a system that you write it down or text it to yourself, and then once a week you assess all your notes. If it's still a valid note, keep it. If it's not, throw it away or delete it. Jared said yes. Lacey said, wow, good information. Why is this not showing up here? Okay. Wow, it's not showing up on this. So wow, good information. Got it. What's myelated, the bursts, the cravings, behavior rule. I've been watching the Oscar video. Okay, that's what's happening. Okay, so I missed that, Monique. Let me catch up down here. All right. So, final question. I started to feel like it's dragging you out of, yeah, I said that already. How can I take small steps? I answered that. Chris said, should I start several projects or do one very intensely? One at a time. One at a time. One at a time, Chris. And then Chris said, do you think the natural results of your work is a utopia where people live with personal accountability? I would hope that that would be the case, but Oscar is going to Oscar and people are going to people and people have free will. What my hope is before I die, there are 1 million people using real leadership and holding themselves personally accountable, because that is enough people that can change the world, and trees will have been planted for which shade I will never sit. It's unrealistic for me to think that 8 billion people are going to do this work. Not in this lifetime, and perhaps not the next. Raniel said, how can I practice being more patient? Putting yourself in situations where you need to be more patient. Sitting in rush hour traffic and not cussing. Standing in a long ass line instead of going to the short line. Listening to people, in Lacey's case, Roger talk about anything business related. So putting yourself in things that normally you'd lose it, and sit there and practice inhibitory control. Sarah said, that's hard to accept. Some of those things were very hard to do enough. Though I was stopping, I taught myself and learned through all kinds of adversities. Can I list the specific things so I'm clear? You can message me. Now, you said some shit that somebody said that Neuro Reps don't work. Who said that? Now that I'm at the end of my list. Who told you Neuro Reps don't work? You brought it up. You wanted to be a little messy over here. Who the fuck said it? Sarah, who told you Neuro Reps don't work? You said somebody from this group. Who said it? Who said Neuro Reps don't work? Who told you that? That's what you said at the beginning. We won't be resetting our SGACC because of time today. In a minute, Joe gonna answer y'all 3 questions and we're gonna be out because we got an appointment. Who said it? You said she said it to you? She said it to you where? You removed the comment. Where was it at? Where was the comment at? Dominique, you on here? She said it to you in the house. You know her? What house? Y'all know each other? How you remove the comment? Explain that to me right quick. All right, Jerry, have a good one. Anybody else got to go? Sorry, you stay. Explain that to me so I'm motherfucking clear. Everybody else, y'all can answer y'all questions. What did you do yesterday? What have you accomplished in the last 24 hours? Reset your own SGACC today. What have you accomplished in the last 24 hours? You don't remove that shit. Tell her to type that shit back. Tell her to tell me that shit. Tell her to message me that shit. She ain't got to tell you, tell me. Tell her to tell me that. You talking about the Dominique that just did her 7 days of Neuro Reps and said yay? You talking about that Dominique that said yay and registered for level 2? We talking about that Dominique? That one? You might want to verify. Okay. Tell her to message me that. Okay. Go ahead and tell her to message me under her yay message. Tell her to reply to her yay message to me in Instagram. She could tell me that it don't work. She ain't got to fucking tell you. Tell me. It's my shit. And any other motherfucker that don't think it works, get the fuck on. You ain't got to be fucking here. What you're not going to do is burn bread on my motherfucking name. If you bold enough to say that shit to me. Type it live. Message me. And say that shit to fucking me. And don't you bring no messy ass shit back over here either, Sarah. Because you will go with her. Ain't no fucking mess over here. That's why I didn't say shit till it was over. Because you could have messaged me that shit. And you put it in the fucking comments. So I'm letting every motherfucking body know. You in my shit and you gonna talk shit, you will be fucking gone. The fuck? Ain't no two-faced bullshit over here. You ain't gotta do this fucking work. I wish a motherfucker would. You think you gonna stay here and do this shit? You better not bring nothing else about no dumb shit to my motherfucking comments with no messy ass bullshit. Cause you will be gone too for saying this shit. You on thin ice right now. Teresa, what have I accomplished? Because you could have said her name in the first place. So you fucking messy too. Messy motherfuckers work with each other. So you better think real clear about the next fucking thing that you say. Because we ain't never had no shit like that happen. And you gonna bring that bullshit over here. Well, they said, but then I said. Matter of fact, you fucking done. Anybody else want to say some stupid shit? Nola? I'll be back. I'm gonna go ahead and get the fucking name off my board. Anybody else want to say some stupid shit and cause chaos in this motherfucking environment? So what did y'all accomplish in the last 24 hours? Roniel said, yesterday I did a new hairstyle. Teresa said, what I have accomplished in the last 24 hours, keeping the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex online, consciously aware of my thought process is actively keeping my daily score. Teresa said, what real leader principle have I used in the last 24 hours? And y'all can go ahead and answer that. Principle of real leadership you used in 24 hours. And what did you do to hold yourself personally accountable? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Chris said I worked out twice in 24 hours and got the endorphins feeling. Teresa said, what did I do to hold myself personally accountable? Came up with a strategy that creates a clear barrier between my authentic self and the shifting moods of other linguistics, camouflaging. Nola said in the last 24 hours, I did my Monday chores and got a 2.5 hour nap. Bridget said, I did all my morning routines before 7 a.m. yesterday. If y'all want to know why Sarah is gone, because she started that shit in the middle of a live, one of her first fucking questions, you can take that fucking messy ass bullshit somewhere else. That's why she can't fucking stay. And I don't give a fuck how many messages I get done. Because as soon as I'm finished on my phone, she getting blocked on every motherfucking thing. We ain't had a fucking problem. And here come a messy ass motherfucker with less than 21 days over here talking about what another bitch said. I don't give a fuck. Fuck all, both of y'all. No, the fuck you can't fucking stay. Started with some bullshit this morning. Started with some bullshit. Well, she said, and this is what I did, and I don't know if it's the same person. Where the fuck you think you at? You think I'm about to let your messy drunk ass stay up in this bitch? You done lost your motherfucking mind. You done lost your motherfucking mind. Both of you bitches are gone. Soon as I get to my Instagram, I don't give a fuck what's happening. You gonna be a fucking problem. See how you gotta let these motherfuckers know and go, Dr. Oligon? I'ma stay here. So imagine if I had started the live with that bullshit. I wouldn't have been able to answer nobody else's fucking questions from some messy ass drunk bitch doing some stupid shit. We ain't had no fucking problems. And then here come a fucking problem. You think I'm about to let that shit slide? You think you about to stay over here and you could have messaged me that shit. And you said it as soon as the fucking live started. Messy asses. And I did that for anybody else that think you're going to do. This is my shit that I built from it. It's fake. Okay. I bet your ass wasn't expecting consequences and repercussions for your unaccountable fucking ass antics. That's a message for anybody motherfucking else. I don't give a fuck about $5.99 fucking cents. That's why the shit is so fucking cheap. So I can get rid of your ass and cancel your bitch ass without blinking a fucking eye. Your name ain't even on my fucking board no more. Starting shit. She said it was fake, but I didn't say nothing. Okay. Now y'all both gone. Now both of y'all gone. Let that be a lesson. We over here doing real work and you over here starting some messy ass bullshit. Raniel said I did all of my morning routines before 7 a.m. yesterday. Raniel said I used to be honest and stay positive. Dr. Oligon said I gave myself a deadline and kept my promise to myself, began to process and dump my thoughts regarding non-business related comments and notes. Also gave Miss Shay Yee's son a mohawk. Oh man, send me a picture. And I'm still working on their names, Dr. Oligon. I just got some other stuff that I got to put ahead of that. Chris said, I used have fun by watching movies and inspect what you expect by having an in-depth conversation about the next 6 months at the department. That's a beautiful thing. That said, maintain high standards too. Andrea said, accomplishment, clean the kitchen, principle, get organized and stay organized. Monique said, I held myself personally accountable by going to a meet and greet and then chose to go home and reorganize my space and went to bed feeling complete. That's good because, you know, that Asia trip, your room was messy, Monique, at times. I accomplished major organizing tasks that have been showing progress or fixing things then feel out of place. I worked out in the room to meet your potential to maximize the moment. And I was thinking of getting a yoga mat while I'm in London and donating it too. So the fact that you said that, because I'm like, I can't go 10 days without stretching. This old ass body, I'll be bent over. Monique, I use the real leader principles, leverage experts, and communicate effectively as some seasoned vets about logistics on the island. Got it. Anybody else have anything else? Got to go ahead and go try, but we got to go too. Bridget said, do it now. Procrastination is the enemy. Said, maintain high standards before thinking and stay focused. Y'all can keep typing if you need to. I'm going to close this out. No, I know we got to go. Got an hour and 11 minutes to get the fuck out of here. Let me explain something one more motherfucking time. You start trying to bring some dramatic shit over here. You try to make it seem like you helping. You trying to make it seem like you're messy ass. Bring some messy ass shit over here and watch what the fuck happened to you. Watch what the fuck happened. You will be gone quick, lickety split, faster than grease lightning. Faster than grease lightning. When she came in the house, I don't know, but I think that's her. That confusing ass bullshit. I let that shit sit there and then addressed it at the end. Don't talk no shit about me. Don't tell me what another motherfucker said about me. Where they at? Say it to my motherfucking face. Say it in my comment section. Say it in my DMs. That's what the fuck you can do. You think I give a fuck about a random bitch talking about my shit don't work? Bitch, you went through 7 days and said yay. It don't work. Okay. Ouch. My feelings are hurt from a random motherfucker that can't get through the system. Go all the way through 365 consecutive days and see if you still say this shit don't work. A motherfucker on level 1 and 2 can say that shit. You ain't did shit yet. You ain't even researched the motherfucking brain yet. How the fuck you gonna tell me it don't work? What the fuck you got working in your raggedy ass existence? In your motherfucking life, nobody ain't gonna come and tell me my shit don't work and think you gonna stay. Well, I was just saying, I deleted it. Then why do I need to know about it? If you standing 10 toes motherfucking down, why are you telling me about it in the live? You see that messy ass bullshit? You see that? So for anybody feeling sorry for motherfucking Sarah, if you do, you can go too. She disrupted our learning environment, said some shit that ain't got shit to do with Ask Dr. Donna, tried to make it seem like she the motherfucking hero instead of a bitch ass zero. Well, I think so, because you didn't think I was going to address it in that way. What did you think was going to happen? That you was coming to rescue me and save me for the day? Is that what you thought? You thought my feelings was going to be hurt? Because she said it don't work. After she said yay, that's when she said it don't work. That's what happened. I think that might be her. Well, don't fucking matter. Because it is her. How she said to you? Bitches doing bitch shit. Bridget said, do it now. Procrastination is the enemy. Set and maintain high standards. Be forward thinking and stay focused. Noah said, the principle of real leadership I use is do it now. Take naps. And Andrea said, held myself personally accountable by confronting that I will have to permanently change my diet 100% adherence, no cheat days, because it damages my brain. Exactly. So we got to go. We have removed people who don't belong over here, who don't understand what the fuck it means to be a real leader and to stand on business and believe that this environment is a place where you can be messy and think that you're going to get to stay. There has to be one safe space on the internet that's fucking Oscar free. Don't fucking try me. This volunteer work. I did not come to your house and tell you you need to do real leadership. You came to my shit. There's one fucking system over here, and if you don't want to use it, you ain't got to. Go. Take your $5.99, $7.99, $12.99 a month ass and leave. Cancel your fucking membership. That's what the fuck you can do. Get your money back if they will let you. You ain't got to be over here. But what you will not do is be disrespectful to shit that I've spent 39 years building and think you have a place over here. We don't fucking need you. There are plenty of fucking drunks in the world that can do this work. I live in Las Vegas. I can just go to an NA and an AA meeting and find a fucking drunk and an addict. Shake a tree and one will fall out. The unmitigated gall. But we're fucking clear right now. And I don't give a fuck what the messages say because they're getting blocked before I pee. And I gotta really pee. But this environment is the most important thing to me besides my brain and my child. It's the third most important thing to me. And I will fist fight fucking fire before I let somebody come and ruin what the fuck I built because of their Oscar-fied fucking existences. You can go be dysregulated and personally unaccountable every fucking where else in the world but where I'm at. Never, ever, on ever, never, nan day. We got enough unaccountable ass motherfuckers walking around. There won't be a place for them over here. Starting shit. For what exactly? For what? Mm-hmm. And I know who the culprit is because motherfuckers is too comfortable. Didn't I tell y'all my bitch ass sister always got a motherfucker doing some dumb shit in the summer? Why did they feel so comfortable saying this? Why did they say that it didn't work? I don't know. Why did that happen? Because it happens every fucking summer. I get that calendarized feeling. And she said it didn't work, but I was trying to tell her that it didn't work. And so. Underlings. Every year, someone does this on a live. Every summer. My dumbass sister can't even get a better modus operandi. Every summer, and they feel comfortable doing it. Now, let me ask y'all before I go, ladies and gentlemen, as my sister watches this. Y'all, 8 days, 12 days in, and this is something that y'all wanted to do. Everybody that's still here, go back. Would you have had the guts on a live to say to me, this don't work? Anybody? Levels 1 through 5, would y'all have had the guts, the unmitigated gall to type, she said this don't work? I said this don't work. Is that something you'd been able to do? You don't know me from a can of paint in 8 to 12 days. Y'all have been able to do that? 8 to 12 days, you'd have had the guts to type that. You would have just left, right? But to say that, so where would you have the guts to do that at? Where would that come from? Wouldn't you have to know somebody that knows me to feel comfortable enough to say that? A real person wouldn't even say that because it's untrue. It does work. Accountability, accounting for my role in the current situation so I know how I got here in the first place and things that I missed. Yes, you're talking about your business partner. So that's why I always know that it's her, because the person is too comfortable saying it. Tell her this. Tell her it doesn't work. Every year, here she comes. Because she mad because my shit works and hers doesn't. She's still stuck where she was before I started helping her in her business. She way back in 2010. And I knew it when I said, how did I get through the summer? I didn't. I didn't get through the summer. Here comes some another random person. Right. Here comes, and it's always out of place. My friction in my ACC always measures it as this. Someone always shows up like they're about to do the work. And part of the reason why is because she needs somebody to come to see how the system works so she can steal my shit. Right now on her page, she's talking about systems and strategies and stuff that you need to do, because that's what she does. She goes and steals other people's shit and act like it's hers. And so she's using terminology that her background just doesn't lend herself to have that vocabulary. So she needed to know how the system worked. The problem is they're all lazy and they will never make it to level 3. And even if you sat through the whole fucking thing, you still wouldn't be able to steal it because you're neurologically inept. So you're attempting to try to understand this business model because you need a new business model because your old one doesn't work. That's what's actually taking place. So, El Swan, if your bitch ass is watching, stop stealing my shit. You had the opportunity. I could have built your shit up, but you was too much of a fucking addict to make sure that that shit could work. So you are the lazy bumbleclop with the atrophied ass 56-year-old brain. Stop coming every fucking summer trying to steal my shit and just do the motherfucking work, bitch. Ain't you the one said you was smarter than me? Ain't you the one that said this ain't shit? Why you keep coming to steal my shit then? Why the fuck you keep sending people over here every fucking summer like clockwork if this ain't shit? You ain't shit. You a hoe ass bitch and a drunk. Okay? You mentioned that a couple of weeks ago that she probably had someone over here. And now we've seen them because they're always too comfortable saying dumb shit. She not gonna know. Use your user account and do this. Every fucking summer. It's always somebody too comfortable, too messy, because she's a messy bitch. Trifling, messy ass, hobosexual, gypsified bitch. So if Dominique is on here, you can go tell her I said that shit. And bitch, you know where I live. Meet me outside. I ain't moved. We could do this. We could go back to when I was 13 and you threw that bottle of peroxide at me and we ain't never had another physical altercation again. But I got hands and I can lay them on the sick with the 5-4 ministry. Come on, we outside and I got backup now, bitch. I got backup. Bring it. Meet me outside my gate because the code changed. You got a fucking part. You want to say some shit to me? Bring it. Air an opportunity up in this motherfucker. You ain't ready for this smoke. Take your whole ass back outside with your fucking WrestleMania ass motherfucking workout clothes on and do that. Okay? Go find somebody else's couch to fucking sleep on. You homosexual. And I know I said that twice. Instagram for questions, thoughts, even personal questions, idea. But out of respect, the principle suggests the private interaction, comment, honesty, address issues when they occur. Right. So I let it occur over here because that's where the fuck this shit started at. She said it didn't work. She mad because it is working. Because while her ass, Pisces ass, went and floated off somewhere, I was still doing the fucking work. Bitch thought I was going to go back to a fucking corporate job 13 years ago. And now I'm like that. And her ass can't fucking take it. Because through all of that shit, I'm still the fucking shit. So epic fail again, summer number 3. Why don't you just stop this shit? Quit fucking following me, you raggedy ass bitch. That's what the fuck you can do. That's your sister. Did the bitch get the memo? Every fucking summer. Every summer. Every time. So I'm going to go pee. And I'm not even going to apologize for y'all having that experience because this shit happens every fucking year. I told y'all it was coming. Told y'all it was coming. Sneaky ass bitch. Meet me outside. Send an email to dthomasrodgers@aol.com. We can fucking end this shit. Don't be doing this bitch ass sneaky what you think you're doing. Let's look me in my face, bitch. That's what you could do. Catch me outside. Never. Never was and never will be. Coming to steal my fucking crumbs. You hungry ass bitch. So that part. Now y'all know why I don't fuck with them crazy motherfuckers. Because they crazy as a bed of Bessie bugs. Still trying to fuck with us. But don't want to fuck with us. Coward ass bullshit. And I don't give a fuck if YouTube, they started it, YouTube, I'ma finish it. Leave me the fuck alone. Okay? It's over. Okay? Take your raggedy ass on back to a fucking yoga class with your mismatched fucking bikinis on. That's what you can do. Suck 3 bags of dicks, you raggedy ass bitch. So anyway, God willing, higher power in the universe. I already have the live together for tomorrow because of how busy we are. The topic will be neurological shift. I will see those of you who are available on TikTok at 4 o'clock a.m. as I continue my 1,005th day streak because I'm like that. And then we will, in tomorrow's TikTok live topic, is the brain can't improve what it never evaluates. The brain can't improve what it never evaluates. And so as Sarah tries to show up tomorrow, we will be blocked because can't remember her username on TikTok. This shit is over. OVER as of now. Epic fail once again. Go back and build a better mousetrap. Why don't you just spend the next 365 days, El Swan, building your shit out for real, okay? That's what the fuck you can do because you're going to fail every time you come over here. Y'all go off and have a great rest of your day. I got some motherfuckers I need to block on the internet. Take care. Adios.